What's cracking, people? It's your baby mama's favorite cousin, Cousin T-Tall. And today I wanted to do a quick response to the Black Pill Gnostic Speaks channel, aka Master Teacher BGS Ipmore's video that he posted recently about the quote-unquote Lizzo lookalike. Posting a TikTok regarding men who approach her friends in friend groups and leave her ignored or completely in the dark. And I just want to relate two relatable stories about this. The first thing I want to say is this: yes, absolutely. The female hierarchy group has what I refer to as the out group enforcer, and that tends to be the bigger girl, the chunky girl, the plus size member of the group. And BGS was absolutely correct when he related stories about being a wingman, and the wingman being the person who needs to keep that individual occupied because she would be the one cock blocking, the intended target for the gunner. And these terms, gunner and winger, are terms that I use in my book, of course, the Seduction Scriptures. And on page 22 is where I do a brief rundown on what it really takes to qualify as an effective wingman. And I'll do more videos focusing on the wingman dynamic in the future. How he needs to know who he is. He has to have an abundance mindset. He has to be the type of person who can land on that grenade and take one for the team, but be oh so smooth about it. Have the amount of confidence it takes to pass off the target to his intended gunner, and so on and so forth. But what I really wanted to highlight is the point in the video where BGS mentioned, or he let the young lady mention, that this dynamic is changing. Historically, as a wingman, you focused on not only the intended target within a group, but you focused on getting the out-group enforcer away from the intended target so that your guy can get in and go in and seal the deal with the intended target. Apparently that dynamic is changing and now, according to this young lady's post, she's saying that even the wingman are ignoring, the outgroup enforcer, who, she referred to as the woman who's historically unattractive. And I thought that was an interesting sort of highlight there for a couple reasons. One, I'm going to say that my older brother, rest in peace, was always targeting larger women. That was his thing. It wasn't a fetish. It wasn't something that he casually enjoyed doing. He sought out purposefully, and even married, and had built a life with women who were on the larger side of the spectrum. So I get that there are a lot of men who find larger women attractive. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing that I want to say is that in my book, The Seduction Scriptures, I highlight that part of the energy flip, there's a dynamic that happens in my world, especially in the exotic entertainment space, in which larger women have all the power. That is because we understand that in the vanilla world, in the greater society, they're historically invisible. They're historically boxed out of the conversation of desirability for the majority of men. And so in sensual spaces, in spaces of exotic entertainment, parties and clubs that cater to the exchange of energy, women understand the protocol. Larger women, shorter women, women who are historically closeted in the vanilla world, get to have a space of relaxed release of all of these, social construct rules and rules of engagement within the greater society. But they understand that the exchange is currency for the ability to be in the room with the type of men that the vast majority of women find attractive, find arousing. And these men are paying attention to them. These men are there to focus on seducing them. These men are there to focus on their erotic desires and playtime. The exchange is, of course, his presence for her money. That's it. It's very clear. Once those factors are negotiated and agreed upon, it is playtime. It is go time. It is the time for any woman who understands the rules of the space to engage in a level of sensual playtime that may not necessarily be afforded to her by men of this caliber in the vanilla world. And for anybody who's wondering, yes, this is actual footage from shows that I've done in the past. And if you happen to see your auntie, if you happen to see a cousin, if you happen to see, your homie's girlfriend, mind your business. All right, do yourself a favor and just mind your business. This is B-roll. All right. So anyway, the second thing that I wanted to say is that at some point I wanted to do an experiment. This was years ago. For myself personally, I am not necessarily attracted to larger women. We call them big sexy in my world, but I determined for a week that I would only approach, I would only ask out, I would only entertain larger women for 1 week. I tried it. It was an experiment. And this is what happened. Every single time that I would engage a woman on the heavier side or larger plus size woman, and I would just sincerely ask, hey, how you doing? My name is T. I would really like to get to know you. What do you have plans for later this week or later today or whatever? Let's do this or whatever. First of all, she would be looking over her shoulder to make sure I'm talking to her. Secondly, she would always ask if I'm trolling. I'm obviously playing, and I would be like, no, this is. I'm sincere. I'm interested in getting to know you. How about it, gentlemen? When I tell you that the radio silence was deafening, okay, you could hear a pin drop, and when she did muster up the words to respond to what I was offering, the response every time was a variation of, we could never hang out. Do you see you? Do you see me? And they would just break down, all of the various points as to why we're incompatible and why this is almost insulting. And I'm so serious. This sounds tragic, but I'm being very serious with this. They would always go back to almost being insulted that I would suggest that we engage, let alone in public, but to see where any type of activity may spring and where that road could go or whatever. Just the very prospect of two people that they felt were historically incompatible or should have been socially incompatible, did not mesh with their social programming. And so my takeaway from that week-long, first of all, the experiment didn't go for the entire week. Like the 7 to 9 women that I approached gave me more than enough information that I needed to know in terms of how something like that would turn out. Because we know that even the most attractive and desirable women in society have a bit of self-conscientiousness that eats away at them. That's why the makeup industry is so valuable. That's why the clothing industry is so valuable. That's why all of these surgeries and medical and all of these other sort of cosmetic industries are profitable, because of so many deep-seated and media-driven, propaganda-driven insecurities that plague the psyche of most women, but with larger women in particular. And so for this particular young lady to make this TikTok, you have to question what shift is taking place. Because if a guy that women would consensuously agree upon is, an 8, 9, or 10, or just, a very attractive, were to really sincerely approach a woman of her caliber, the woman that's in the picture that made the TikTok video, on some sincere, hey, let me get to know you stuff, the hamster wheel, as they say, would be going into overdrive. She would be self-sabotaging. She would do all that she could to throw dirt. She would put, other friends, push other friends off on him, just so that she could be removed from the expectations of being with a man of the caliber that she claims that she wants. So at the end of the day, I think it was a great review. Appreciate BGS for putting this material out there. Hopefully we can have a greater discussion in the future. Any guys who did this experiment themselves, we probably didn't do it, but if you did, let me know that in the comments, because as they say, big girls need love too. As always, this is your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.